My name is Dealinaire Shook, and I am the information collector. For the past 10 months, the question that everyone has been asking is how will Donald Trump's tariffs affect the nation? Now, it's really hard to tell because there's a lot of businesses that are going to survive, but there's a lot of businesses that are very sensitive to it. You could almost even call them a litmus test for how they will affect the economy. Now, there are those on the lower end of the scale, but honestly, the businesses that are most at risk are high end luxury good retailers. A lot of their goods come from some of these countries. And honestly, people don't have to buy these goods. Um, uh, if you go through a lot of malls held high-end retail, and that's why they're gone. Which means if we want to see how the tariffs that President Trump placed on our nation, trading partners, are affecting us and our economy, Oxford Industries is a perfect case study. You would have a hard time finding a more suitable test case. See, Oxford Industries owns Lilly Pulitzer, Tommy Bahama, Southern Tide, Duckhead, and Johnny Was. These are luxury brands that are bought by people who, honestly, they can get something almost as good at high-end department stores. So when Oxford Industries released their results for the first half of the year, the second quarter, I looked at it, and the more I looked at it, the more I was like, this shows how the most vulnerable businesses are affected by Donald Trump's tariffs. So the owner of Tommy Bahama, Lilly Pulitzer, Southern Tide, Duckhead, and Johnny Was is in a very exposed position to anything disrupting their supply chain and to anything disrupting the economy overall. Because this is not a product that everybody has to have. It's not even a product that the people who shop there have to buy. But they only reported a 4% drop from the prior year's sales. While the Lilly Pulitzer sales only fell 1.5%, the Johnny Was brand lost about 10% of sales compared to 2024. The report attributed $9 million of lost income to increased tariffs and credits to fewer discounts and wholesale sales. In other words, they basically shut the blue light off from the blue light specials. And therefore, we're able to charge more, making less impact from the tariffs. Now, they, during the first half of this year, also bought back $55 million in shares and spent $55 million on expansion. So when a company can spend $110 million on non-operational aspects of the company, they aren't about to go under. The company expects the cost of tariffs to be $80 million at the end of this fiscal year, although they believe they can cut that impact down to about $30 million by sourcing strategies. Curiously enough, in fiscal year 2024, before the tariffs, Oxford Industries Inc. says they made $1.52 billion. They place the fiscal year 2025 sales estimates between $1.45 and $1.515 billion. Now, they've done this in a couple of different ways. The two most striking changes in the balance sheet was an increase from no long-term debt to about $80 million of long-term debt, and a change of income tax receivables by $19 million, a reduction. Now, these are very interesting because they're expected tax savings that are, well, just that, expected. But over the past decade, we've seen an increase in finance firms buying these as a sort of investment. And recently, Andy Lee founded Parallaxis Capital to focus solely on tax receivable agreements. Now, what does this mean? In my opinion, Oxford Industries sold off their future tax savings for some of it. For example, Parallaxis could have bought the $19 million in income tax receivables and given them $10 million cash. Now, since that category was reported at around $3.4 million in this second quarter, but about $10 million in the first half of the year, I suspect they worked out some sort of sale to a finance firm in the first quarter of the year. Now, what are the takeaways from the report? Oxford Industries has less cash equivalents, more debt, and more investments. See, while the company has tightened its very nice leather belt, they are expanding overall, both acquiring the assets of the brand Johnny Was and shifting distribution of Johnny Was from Los Angeles to Lyons, Georgia. They found places to cut back while expanding. And in their opinion, they have a future, which is an interesting commentary on the Trump tariffs. Not saying this applies to every business or even every luxury business out there, but this is how Oxford Industries has handled this.